is a structure in the body other than having a function with muscle. It is like an antenna, or what?
No. Bone. Actually these things are coming to us through other scientists who they see how it works. They can't find the answer to part of their problem, and the way they come to us, or they find something, they come to us with it, and then we see. We understand the basic or the foundation, and then we can explain to them how things are. And the thing is, bone has a very important function in holding and control of all. The function of bone is to control the flow of minerals within the structure of the body.
Okay.
So bone is not just bone marrow, which you're going to get what's produced inside it. Partially bone and the structure of the bone decides most of what your body is holding onto on the heavy element side. Because bone structure is heavy, calcium is on a higher level, so the bone structure and its operation decides what fields are absorbed in the bone marrow that when they come out function to control the other materials in the body. This is a very, very important thing. Bone marrow works, or bone structure, the physical structure of the bone operation dictates what strength even the bone marrow is in fighting infection, in fighting cancer. So because it's a very simple thing. Always in my talks I say that we absorb what we eat as food for our energy is 20% of what we actually absorb from our environment daily. So 80% of our necessary fields to survive and to operate comes through our environment. The same thing in a smaller scale happens to our bone. Our bone dictates what it needs to take from environment, which translates into solid, into the called bone marrow, and then that bone marrow decides how we live and the rest of the structure of it. If the scientists understand the importance of the bone itself as a structure in the survival of man, you'll find out a lot of diseases don't even need any medication for, because you can control it through the bone marrow. Bone marrow has a control room. Blood has a control room of the energy level, which is the lung. Bone marrow has a control position, and it sits on top of the lung. It's called thymus. It's just there.
Oh, I see,
That is what it does. This is a bone marrow control. The blood vessels, the blood energy level for the rest of the body is through the lung. And the same thing is the function of thymus, because the scientists don't even understand what is there for in reality. It's something we know is there. We know some scientists give us an indication it does control of the T4 or whatever T8. But now scientifically we can say how it is. In a way we are running tests now that we can say what bone marrow strength we would like out of the bone marrow, and we say to the thymus what to cut for what disease and where. This is how we managed recently to dictate in the breast cancer condition that the breast, literally cancer which is externally grown, was literally shedding pieces and pieces every day. We could instruct the body to get dispose of the cancer. But the problem with this case was that the blood vessels are too much on the surface, so there was too much blood loss. So in a way, we developed a way we can kill the cancer from center outwards, and then we can cut it from outside inwards to make it smaller. But then when you make the two meets, they'll be the end of the cancer, because it cannot grow, and what is on the fringe it cannot shrink any further. So the two come together, and you find the cancer can be stopped literally without any operation. So these lumps of breast, which has been rejected by the body daily, are now in our hands with a pathologist to be examined.
Oh.
And we will see how the next step comes. Because with this machine we developed, you don't need to put it, you put it on the arm, it's still the breast tumor, just the minute you take it off, the next day it stops. You put it on, you see
it starts again.
Okay. And our volunteer, bless her soul, she died 2 weeks ago. She used to say, I have a love and hate relationship with this thing. Yeah. I see it getting rid of my cancer tumor, but I have to go for a blood infusion every 2 or 3 days because I lose so much blood. Because it's literally peeling the skin off, right? But with the breast, is that the tumor, the blood vessels are, we understand the structure of the cancer, how cancer comes to grow so fast.
And with breast cancer, you also had another story of a woman who had lost her breast. Is that a story you want to tell on
it's not a story.
No, it's a case?
It's a case we are looking at, because we've grown amputated toe, we've grown different pieces in the body in our research. Now we have a lady who has amputation of breast, and we want to see if we can allow it to grow, because this time the breast removal was about 30-40 years ago.
Whoa.
But now we see a chance that it's possible to allow the body to regrow the breast, but we'll see what happens. The trial starts next month or two. Because these things you can't just think and just do it. You've got to plan, you've got to design, and then you've got to manufacture a unit which does the job of a breast.
Yeah.
You have to grow tissues, you have to allow the brain to grow a neurosystem, you have to allow the brain to start reproducing the skin, to allow the cavity for the specific way for the skin to grow, to allow the growth of the muscle. There's no use growing the muscle when the skin doesn't grow with it.
Yeah, no, of course not.
You've got to allow the production of the nipple. These are all got a specific position in the brain. You have to look for it, you have to design it, and then you have to understand how to bring the DNA in, the channels of the milk can be there. And it's a lot of understanding before you do it. And we have enough that we're trying to see if it works.
Oh, amazing. Well, talking about skin brings me to victims of burns. How to then can you envision a way of getting the skin back to the original position when they have all this scarring where the skin is tight?
What is burns?
Burns.
Burns. Fire. We don't know.
Didn't try it yet?
No, nobody has ever asked us.
Okay, well, I know someone who could.
We don't know. It's something we know. Most of our cases come because people come to us and we say, we know a bit about it, but let's add a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
We never jump to the top and say, we're going to do that.
No.
It's just that we build enough knowledge that step by step we are adding to it. If the step is too far, I reject the case. If the steps is another little step that I can add a little bit more to the knowledge, I accept the case. But sometimes you accept the case as a totality because you understand bits of it, but you need to put different bits together to see what the totality is. So it's a case of how much we know, and if the knowledge from where the target is not too far. Because if it's too far, you don't get there, you get disappointed, and then you say we didn't learn anything. But then the process has to be in little by little to the next. And for this reason, hopefully, there will be the first part of the Keshe Foundation Medical is getting set up in Belgium. That the doctors are going to decide where the Foundation Medical is going to go. A team of doctors hopefully will come together soon, and they will decide how they want the education side goes, and what we have to start teaching on the medical side that they want the doctors to know. So we start transferring more or less control of the Foundation Medical in the hand of the physicians. There is a cost, there is a problem which a lot of people come with. They say this technology is very expensive. The technology is not expensive compared to what it gives as a return.
No.
If you have a fibromyalgia, or if you're an MS patient in a wheelchair for the rest of your life, if you can start living a normal life again after 20, 30 years, or near normal, at least, or independence, then somebody has to change you, or you can only work half a day a month or a week, then you understand the technology is not that expensive.
No.
But on the other hand, with the Keshe Foundation ethos is that if we decide the case is worth for us to learn from, we give a cost to you, let's say 10,000 euro. If you cannot afford it, you can confirm, or we can ascertain that you cannot afford it, or you can afford to pay it in a different way, the foundation pays for it. The only reason we reject cases, which is a majority of cases, is because they are repeats. We are not production to our knowledge, or the disease is too far for us at that moment to understand. So when it's too far, I refuse it, because no use wasting time.
No.
And if it's a repeat, I'm not there at the moment to see repeats. But there are a few cases we see our knowledge can change life. Especially like in the case of fibromyalgia, which a lot of people, so these people haven't worked for years. So when they come to us, you know their financial capability is very limited. So the foundation gives these units free, because we know we can change a life. We can change the life of a young woman in the age of 30, 40 years of suffering under 20, 30 years. And you see them changing. And then we leave it to them if they want to pay anything to the foundation that we can help the next lot. So we don't refuse anybody because of the financial, because some people say, oh, it's a very expensive and it's only for the rich. It's only for the people who we can learn from. Your financial status will not affect the decision. I never ask, or I never tell what the thing costs. I tell them I would accept you, and this is the cost. When I accept you, this is your share. So if you can't afford paying it, and a lot of people start abusing this honesty of ours. So we have started introducing a form that you explain your financial position without freedom to check. This came from abuse. So people are abusing it. It stopped me spending a lot of time helping people. It goes a lot of time trying to put structure in not to be abused. So every week we give a lot of systems without charge to people, and we leave it to their discretion what they want to pay. And we find out a lot of people will go back to work after 10 years without a job, because they couldn't work because of all sorts of problems. And then you see the start pointing. I see it every day, every week, the small donations, and then they put their name, who they are. They couldn't pay, now they're back to work. We have a case that recently I saw this woman coming into the center, and she said, sorry, I've come here for my daughter. I said, yeah, I don't know you. She says, yeah, my daughter came here with a fibromyalgia for 3 years, she couldn't work. Now she's got a part-time job, she's a teacher again. So she can't come, I came with the systems, and you can tell me that I can tell her. So people go back and they participate and they refund. And most of the people who participate in the foundation are people who will be benefited by the foundation. So in a way it belongs to them, and they start understanding there's no use abusing a system which can be help to the others. So there is a lot of hype about we are very expensive, we are extremely expensive. Research is very expensive, but the foundation is independent. And we keep the independence, that we don't go in the hand of the banks, or we don't go in the hand of institutes. You pay us to learn, and then you pay for you to be part of the society that the others can benefit by you. So if you can afford it to pay, you pay. The ones who can't afford it, we pay. We give things free for it. But on the other hand, we don't allow the abuse. This abuse has become very prominent in the past couple of months. And so we put the structure around it now that we give, we don't mention anything. People say, okay, I can't afford it. Then we say, okay, this is a form, you fill it in, and then not me, but Somebody who understands the function of financiality in the foundation will check, and if it adds up, you get the system free. We still give systems free. We cannot do somebody who has in a critical condition, and you know you can help. You can't say we don't do it till we check. We give system free. But as I always say, it's time to serve, not to be served.
Yeah.
And people, if they change their attitude, we had a case very recently here in Holland. They approached us, they accused us of that you refused us because we couldn't pay. We checked their dossier immediately. They actually were told to pick their system from the foundation. And then we found out there was more into this. So we sent them a form, it says we can't afford it. They withdrew because they knew we were going to check and there's more behind it. So we stopped closing off the abuse, but people have terms with, they are not robbing us, they are robbing your own child, your own wife in the future because the research is not there for it.
Yeah, amazing. Well, these things bring out the best in people, but also the worst, apparently.
Well, it's a habit of
scarcity
trying to abuse. It's more or less trying to abuse because we are got used to abuse. We think if we don't abuse it, there is something wrong with it. So people rob their own governments, they rob their own taxes, and then we are realizing more and more all these abuses is coming to harm us back collectively.
Yeah.
So we see it, the collapse of the financial situation in the West is part of people taking so much and other ones robbing from the ones they thought they could, it's their right to steal. So you don't pay your taxes, there is no more for the government to pay to keep your services going. So it's the same thing with us.
Yeah.
We don't go out, we don't look for financial support. We are self-sufficient, self-sustained, and this allows us to research in wherever we want at the moment we want. We don't go and look. We're going to make a decision where we're going to find the money to run a trial on a new type of MS.
Yeah.
I know what the financial reserves are. I know roughly what the cost is going to be the foundation. I know if we can absorb it or we can sustain it, and then decision is made within a matter of a day or two. It's as simple as that. So we go immediately, and then what we learn in the medical side, we immediately transfer it into the space technology. Because
you are very quick, as I noticed from your tales about what happened. You're very quick to implement what you learn from a doctor into your system and then carry it over into the other technology.
Yeah, that's the only way it's done. It's the only way. The only way it's done because it speeds up the process of the gain of knowledge.
Yeah.
We started collaboration with the leading scientists around the world. Not in a way we go after them; they come after us, and they want to prove that we are wrong, and that opens a point of discussion. We say, okay, we put it into public.
Yeah.
We are not wrong, you're not wrong. It's just adding information to the old.
Yeah.
And then you find most of the scientists have two attitudes. They walk away because they have to learn something new and it's too much. Or they say, okay, I'm prepared to put my piece of knowledge in, you put yours, and then we see what comes out.
Yeah.
We have started this now even with our seed production. You know, we have a food section of the foundation, which is the seed.
Yeah. Oh, the seeds. Okay.
Now, as scientists who's become part of the foundation, been negotiating or talking to us for months and months about the seed, but he is an agriculturist from the leading university in Belgium. So he would like to see the progress of the seed. So he has spoken to scientists in the university. They want to see such a thing, how it works. So we invested in a totally new seed growing machine yesterday. That we financed it totally. Cost us a few €1,000. Systems have been paid for. So from next week, scientists independently will grow parallel with us seeds under normal conditions, seeds on the Keshe Foundation gravitational system condition, and seeds on the soil of the same system. So they parallel, we parallel, and the scientists start. We think the seed growth is very important because we've seen we grow the seed last year. We've seen how it works. Now it's a matter of not only growing the seed, but seeing what the end product is. If it's any genetic deviation from the original, these seeds are registered seeds in Europe, so we know every structure of the seed. So it's going to be wheat and corn will grow, and then we watch it and we see if the harvesting is the same, if the growth of the structure is the same, if the growth of the leaves are the same under the given condition. Even they bought a special greenhouse for it that stays a constant condition. And so we support research with the other institutes because the trust only comes when they are involved in it.
Yeah, sure.
So now we got doctors who work with us, we have a space agency who work with us, we have scientists in the seed who work with us, we have other scientists who are in material who are very closely working with us. We look into the structural production of different elements in the space that for construction of what do you call it, like aluminium. We don't need to take aluminium from here. But you can build all the buildings on the moon or Mars. How much steel is on it? How much you can get from that is that point.
And you have to bring it from,
But now we understand the structure of the material, and we've done it before. Now we can, and it's very relatively easy to produce materials at the point of demand. You want the steel, it should be very easy to produce tons of steel out of the magnetic field of the environment of the point where you are. So you create or you absorb magnetic fields and you portion it to the strength of the let's say aluminium atom, and then we have devised the system which we call it the GAN system. You convert that field into matter in a very simple process. So you have a continuous production of the aluminium atom, then you can produce aluminium structure. And this should not cost more than a few cents. We are not talking about millions. This is one of the things which I always say in my talks. When, let's say, Earth was came to be born, came to exist, God didn't take a bucket of this as you have so many thousand tons of that and so many kilos of that, and I make her. Whatever is in the environment has come together in a magnetic field and is converted itself back to a matter, solid, and it's what we have as Earth. And in time this material will disintegrate, will go below the magnetic field, the strength of the matter, becomes submatter as magnetic fields and becomes another matter in another dimension. So now we have learned this process of dimensioning. So you take a plasma of a proton and you can, from a plasma of a proton, if you understand how it is made, you can make a plasma of gold. And then you convert the gold into solid gold. But not to sell in the diamond bourse or in the gold bourse, but use as a material in the space. Because I believe gold GANs, which is converted from gas into solid, has specific characteristics which can do a lot of things in the space, better than the superconductors, because we have these materials now. It's not theoretical. We have these materials being tested by universities here in Europe. So we are seeing new materials which are unknown to man. The new material, we call it GANs, which is a gas as nano state. What does this mean is that we can convert magnetic field or gases into a solid in a very simple process as room temperature and pressure. Up to now, the three materials we know, or four materials we knew, is solid, gas and liquid. These are environmental condition dependent. But now that we understand the gravitational magnetic field are the same thing, interconnected, now if we change the characteristic of the gravitational magnetic field of the atom of any of these substances, when they are in a gas condition, which is easier to handle, you can create that matter anywhere in the universe. So it means you don't need to have hydrogen anywhere in the universe to survive or to create water or to create oxygen. You create the magnetic field, you absorb the magnetic field of the hydrogen, you reduce it or you GANS it to the atomic structure of the hydrogen, and then you can use it as a hydrogen or oxygen or whatever you like. So it's totally a fourth state of matter. And if this is very far-fetched, you don't understand it, that things convert into matter, to a GANS, and how can gases become solid at room temperature. I always say in my talks, you've been there, I say, just pinch yourself. Your solid body is a gas of hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon. How come it becomes solid? Because our body has gone through a vacuum layer positioning condition that converts gases into amino acids to a solid. So now we got that knowledge. And from that knowledge, we know now for a fact that this conversion of gases into solid at room temperature and pressure releases some of the magnetic fields because it's adjustment. So that adjustment, release of magnetic gravitational field to a solid state, because it's much tighter pack, means release of magnetic fields. So in Eindhoven we showed this as a light. We absorb this conversion surplus energy or magnetic field, we showed as a light. Nobody understood. But in our body, this conversion becomes the heat of the body. Now we understand why we're always 37 degrees at any point on our body. This is when the material goes to the point, at the point of conversion, to change to part of the amino acid solid, they have to release some of their energy. So it's a continuous conversion of field to matter. Surplus energy is the heat, and that's why we don't have somebody going and increasing temperature 37 degrees at the toe or the head or whatever. It's a constant process. So for the first time scientifically we can explain the heating process of the body, which is conversion of the fields into solid matter. So now we understand this. For the first time I created protein in Tehran. They couldn't understand what I was doing because the system was full of fat. It's literally protein. So, and the question was that time, how come the lab is so clean, so much grease is in the systems? But I could not explain to them, this is what we discovered, we had to add more backup for it before we confirmed it. So now in the space you can produce as much protein as you like. Would you like a red meat, or I say, would you like a banana? This is very easy. So you want aluminium. It's the conversion which the universe does. In fact, the parallel to this is, it is in the book which is coming out very soon, next couple of months, is that in this book is called The Structure of the Solar System. A lot of people don't understand the cosmic dust. Cosmic dust we get continuously, and we go certain time of the year through it all the time, and we get it as what we call it lights, what we call the aurora in northern lights. How these cosmic dust suddenly appear, and they are there all the time. There is a reason for cosmic dust. Cosmic dust are magnetic gravitational fields which have left the sun, and in the process to go, that they are getting attracted and move away, they lose enough of their magnetic field strength, gravitational field strength, that at certain point they become weak enough to become the strength of the matter level. So they appear as matter. So in so many ways cosmic dusts are the magnetic field of the sun, which have reduced, cooled down enough that they become tangible to us. So now we understand why Earth continuously is adding layers and layers to itself and absorbing cosmic dust. Because cosmic dust is the full explanation of high strength magnetic field in traveling through space, becoming matter, and then becoming a solid. And then we see that in its interaction with the solid, the magnetic gravitational field of the Earth, in burning they create this whatever we have as cosmic dust. On the other hand, the same thing of the change of the conversion has become very fashionable. in my talks I always talk about God's particle. You know my God's particle. God particles are scientists looking for themselves. Because they never understood even a man or a cosmic dust or in the light they're looking for a matter is the conversion of the higher strength to a lower strength magnetic fields, which is containing both gravitational and magnetic fields.
Okay, well, that is the technical part of your technology. I think it takes many times to listen to your explanation to really let it sink in, because we have been taught so many different things often. So, as I said at the beginning, leave everything you know behind, be a blank slate to hear what Mr. Keshe has to say. And I want to thank you for your talk, for your interview with me.
Thank you very much, till next time.
And until next time, yes, you bet. And your website where people can find information is www.keshefoundation.org.
.org. It's all the same, but .com is the main, and it's